A lot of times people think about gratitude and well-being and meditation and acceptance. They're like woo concepts, but they're really not. There's so much science and research behind how they work and how they affect productivity and creativity and innovation and all the things that business leaders want to bring into their workplace. And so kind of meshing those two worlds together is where I come in, and making it much more accessible and talking about these things on not just a conceptual level, but actually giving tools that people can take and use right away. Like in 5 minutes, they will see results.
Now, I know you have some fun playfulness on your website, and you talk about being more than just fine.
Yeah.
And can you share with us, what are you seeing in the workplaces that you work with in relation to this concept of being fine?
Yeah. People are afraid to say, I'm not fine, and to raise their hand because they're afraid of repercussion or they feel like it's shameful. And nobody wants to stand out and say, everything's not okay.
Right.
So the standard response to anything is, it's fine. I'm fine. It's complacency. It's mediocre. It's not exciting. It's not great. It's not fantastic. And who wants to go through their life with everything just being fine? And from a business perspective, who wants employees who are just fine? The people that I work with, they want their employees to be engaged and excited and plugged into the mission of the company, excited about what they're doing, so that they bring their full 100% selves into
Right.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're seeing a real shift in our workplaces away from engagement scores to well-being scores. Really, if people are in a state of well-being, they are going to be more engaged because their physiology is going to allow them to go there.
And when we're talking about well-being, we're talking about on every level,
Right.
like physical well-being, because if somebody's in pain, they're not going to be as focused and engaged as they might otherwise be.
Yep.
If they're in emotional stress, which is a lot, we see a lot of that. Again, how are they going to focus? How are they going to be
Exactly.
delivering 100% or delivering a high quality?
So what are some of the practices then that you bring into your sessions or your workshops with
Mhm.
these organizations?
First, it's about gratitude. Again, I bring in what I had learned and more stuff that I've learned since the baking company.
Yep.
But this whole concept of gratitude, again, there's so much science and research behind it. And so many people don't express gratitude, whether it's as a boss to an employee or to colleagues or clients, even.
Yep.
And it's like I had mentioned before, it's a differentiating factor. There was a study done by Harvard University and Wharton, and it showed that receiving a thank you from a supervisor boosted productivity by more than 50%. And at the same time, people are less likely to show gratitude at work than anywhere else. Only
So
10% expressed gratitude as a regular habit, and 60% of people never or
wow.
rarely expressed gratitude.
Was that pre-COVID or post-COVID? Does it say?
No, it didn't say.
Because my guess is that those numbers only got, I'll say worse, but our desire or our inability to be grateful or share that out loud
Mhm.
has only become more exacerbated since the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Actually, the article, it says 2017. So
Okay,
yeah.
so gratitude. Let's talk about that. Like, what? Okay, fine, Lori. I'll say thank you. I'm sure you're going to hear, maybe see
Mhm.
some eye rolls, but take us through, what's this journey of gratitude that you bring into your workshops?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really about becoming what one of the things that people say is, well, I'm just not naturally grateful.
Right.
Oh, or I don't have anything to be grateful for, which is
Mm,
like, wait. Let's
yeah.
take a step back, because whatever your circumstances are is kind of irrelevant. It's how you are perceiving things, how you are looking at things. And so helping people to gain a new perspective on it, to see it through different eyes. So for example, a few months ago, I'm living nomad life right now.
Okay.
So I'm driving a lot and I'm living in different places. And I was in a city that I didn't know. And long story short, something happened with the brakes on my car, and I narrowly avoided hitting the car in front of me. But when I hit the brakes, they locked up.
Okay.
And I'm in 6 lanes of traffic, and it's about 7 o'clock at night. It's starting to, it's dusk, and I'm stuck. Like my car, the brakes are locked, the wheels are
Right.
locked, and now I'm just sitting there. So I call roadside assistance, and they send a tow truck and all the things. But while I'm sitting there, instead of going into a rant, which I could have done,
Yep.
and a lot of people would have done,
Yep.
I instead went to gratitude. And I went, I'm so grateful that I have roadside assistance. I'm so
Right.
grateful that they're sending a tow truck driver, and that I had called them and that they were on their way,
Right.
and that he was so careful in getting the car up, because it was a difficult situation because the wheels were locked, to get it on the flatbed, and that I was only a mile from the Airbnb I was staying at. And that then he dropped off my car at the dealership that was also only a mile away. Then he gave me a ride home. He was like, I'm not really supposed to do this, but since it's so close, I'll just drop you off. Like all of these things that I could be grateful for instead of being angry that this happened. I'm grateful I
Right.
didn't hit the car in front of me. Like all of these things, but that comes from practice. 15, 20 years ago, that wouldn't have necessarily been where I first went. But instead, now I've trained myself, and this is what I do in my workshops, is help people with these techniques that can help train them to become more naturally grateful, so that when things happen, you see the gratitude instead of the frustration and the anger. And that's not to say that there is no frustration and anger, but how
Yep.
do you override it?